Welcome to Content and Conversations, the podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners that want to prioritize connection and relationship as the primary tool to drive sales. Content and conversations are the two most powerful tools you have to attract the most amazing clients, build solid relationships, and sell more stuff. From sales, marketing, energy, and mindset, we'll discuss everything you need to hit your goals, make more money, and have more fun in your business. Let's go. Welcome back to Content and Conversations. I am your host, Ryan Dowdy, and I am very excited to have a mindset-focused conversation with you today about the idea that successful businesses do not happen on accident. Successful businesses do not happen on accident. And I've been doing a lot of really kind of heavy how-to and tactical, and so I really wanted to spend a little bit of time thinking about the mindset and energy that goes into business. So in, my entrepreneurial journey since 2019, I have learned so much about, in my head in the beginning, it was all about strategy and it was all about numbers. It was all about action. It was all about hustle and grind and the really traditional things that we're taught in corporate America, right? That's how one grows a business. And so in becoming an entrepreneur and going on my own personal development journey and then really my own awakening journey, I've realized that, mindset and energy actually plays a way bigger factor than I thought or ever realized, right? And that all of our effort and our energy and the things that we are doing to grow our businesses can actually have, exponentially larger results and get us, bigger, better, faster, stronger, if we really have our mindset and our energy in check. But that brings me back to this conversation is that we don't accidentally create successful businesses, right? Like successful businesses are really about intention, and it's about who we are as we are executing in our businesses, right? So I am going to talk about some how-to stuff in this for sure. There's definitely some tactical things in creating a business, but it ultimately, I believe that creating a successful business really starts with us as the business owner, as the CEO, as the leader, whatever you call yourself, small business owner, entrepreneur, don't care what you call yourself, but it really starts with us making a decision. You have to decide that my business is going to be successful no matter what. It is a decision, right? And when you get in alignment with this decision and you decide I'm going to have a successful business, and whatever success looks like to you, I also want to be clear, for all of us, success looks very, very different. So the first thing I think we have to do is we have to decide what does success look like for us. And then we have to make a decision that is inevitable for me. It is inevitable for me to achieve X. And to me, X equals success, right? So what is your definition of success? And then I have to intentionally decide that is it for me, that I am unavailable for anything else. Energetically, it's just no other option. There's no way that I'm not going to get what I want, that I'm not going to achieve what I want to achieve, right? So one of my favorite ways to think about this, and I've heard this in several different variations, is this idea that, when you order from Amazon, right? You order something from Amazon and you just expect it's going to show up, right? You have decided, I have picked, what's the most recent thing you ordered on Amazon? For me, it was some readers. I don't want to talk about it. Like 6 months before my 40th birthday, all of a sudden I needed readers, right? But I'm joking, but I'm not, because I really did need readers, right? But I decided that I was ready for readers. I decided what I wanted and I bought them. And I just knew that the readers were going to show up, right? Like I just knew that they were going to show up at my house. And I knew when they were going to show up because Amazon told me when they were going to show up. But I didn't waffle. I didn't worry. I wasn't anxious about, oh my God, is it going to happen? Are they going to get here? Are they going to get here? Are they going to get here? I didn't think about it. I just knew that I ordered the readers and the readers were coming to me because I decided that I was buying readers. Like that is the level of conviction. That is the level of tenacity that I need you to decide that that's it. Like this year, my revenue goal is this, or success looks like this. And it's just here for me. Just like I am positive that those readers are going to show up from Amazon. I am confident that I'm going to achieve this level of success. Like that is how committed I need you to be, right? And then once you make that decision once, you have to make that decision over and over and over again. For me, it's every day, right? Sometimes it's moment by moment because we are humans and we have human brains, and our human brains like to, we have a negativity bias as humans, right? So our brain is like, oh my God, here's all the ways that it might not work out. Here's all the things I have to look out for. Here's all the things that could go wrong. Here's all the possibilities that it may not happen, right? That is our brain. But when we realize that is simply our brain's job, that all our brain is doing is keeping us safe, what it is actually designed to do, right? Our brain is doing its job, but I've already made a decision. So it doesn't matter that my brain is freaking out right now about how how this is going to work and what's going to happen and yada, yada, yada. None of that matters because I already made a decision, right? Same thing with my readers. my readers may not, get here, exactly. I don't even know how they're going to get here, right? I don't even care how they're going to get here. I just know that they're going to get here. So, maybe they do get rerouted, or maybe they get delayed a day, right? I recently had that happen with a package that it got delayed, and it was supposed to be here on a Wednesday, and it didn't get here until Thursday, right? But at the end of the day, the package was still coming, period, end of, because I had made that decision, right? That is what we need to do, is have that level of conviction, knowing that even though our brain is feeding us all of these crazy and wild things that may or may not happen, as to whether or not we're going to be successful. But when we make that decision, when we have that conviction, when we stand here and say, just as sure as I ordered those readers on Amazon, is just as sure as I am going to achieve X this day, this week, this month, this year, when we can show up with that level of certainty, that is the first step, right? That is the first step. But then every day, we have to make a commitment to consistently work on ourselves to keep ourselves in line with the decision that we made. I'm going to use another decision, trigger warning for anybody with an eating disorder, but I'm just going to use a diet and exercise one because this seems to be the easiest for most people, right? When we decide, there was a time in my life when I was a runner. I went through a very short period of time of being a runner, and I was training for half marathons, and you can go on the internet and you can find a training guide, and it tells you what to run and how to run. And I had literally never run more than 3 miles before I decided to run this half marathon. So I needed the training guide. And so I took the training guide. It was a 12-week program, and I just showed up and I did the things. And it never occurred to me that I wasn't going to be able to run the 13.1 miles, right? Like, it just never occurred to me because I had the training program. I did the things. Every day I made the decision to train for that race. Every day I made the decision to show up. I didn't accidentally show up one day and run 13 miles, right? I very consistently planned and trained and made a decision every single darn day to make myself into a runner, right? To make myself into a runner. I worked consistently. Did I skip workouts? Sure. Did I have shitty workouts? Absolutely, right? But at the end of the day, I had decided that I was going to run that race. And I trusted that this training program was going to get me there. So was there nerves? Was there anxiety? Sure, right? Because again, I'm a human. But at the end of the day, I knew that I was going to be able to run those 13.1 miles because I had made the decision that I was going to run that 13.1 miles. And then I made the decision every single day that I was going to get up and train for that 13.1 miles. So when it was time to run that 13.1 miles, I was going to get it done. It was not by accident, right? It is the exact same thing in your business, my friends. Right? What is the plan? What is the plan that you're following every day? What are the things? What are the commitments? What are the decisions that you have to make every single day to intentionally create the success that you want in your business? And these are both mindset things and they are tactical things, right? But we have to make that decision and commit to it over and over and over again. It is a focused practice. It's not something we decide once. I didn't just decide to run a race and that was it. I just made one decision and then showed up on race day. No, I had to decide every single day that I was going to train and prepare for that race. You have to show up every day and train and prepare for, having the successful business that you desire, right? But the first thing happens in the decisions, in the commitments, and then it's like, okay, what is my plan? Right? And for me, when I look at plans, I look at them in two ways, right? I look at the mindset and energetics, and I look at what is the action I'm going to take. So the first question I'm asking myself is, who do I need to become? Right? Who do I need to become to hit those goals? Right? The version of me that has that business goal that I desire, that version of success that I desire, who is she? Who is she? How does she show up? What does she think? What does she do? What does she feel? What habits does she have? What does she not do? What does she not think? What does she not feel? What excuses does she not make? Right? What does that version of me look like? Right? That's the first thing that I have to decide. Who is that person who has that version of success that I desire? And what can I do, again, moment by moment, day by day, to become that person, right? To become the person who has that level of success that I desire. For me, it tends to be more doing less, worrying and all of the drama than it actually is doing more, right? And for many of us, that's probably going to be the case. If you are a doer, if you are the type of person that is like, I can work all day, every day, I am the person who gets shit done. Like, if that's you, a lot of what you're going to have to teach yourself to do as you become the most successful version of yourself is actually take stuff off of your plate. And sometimes it's the doing you're taking off of your plate, but sometimes it's a lot of the stories that you're telling yourself, right? For me, it's a lot of self-doubt. It's a lot of anxiety. It's a lot of worry. It's a lot of micromanagement, right? Like, that's really very much been my work in becoming the most successful version of myself. And am I there? No, absolutely not, right? But I do work every single day to be that person. I work every single day to be that person. And again, sometimes this is a legitimately a moment by moment thing. Anytime I find my brain idle, meaning I am not focused on work. I'm not focused on a meeting. I'm not focused on my kids. I'm not focused on something, right? If my brain is just wandering, I'm like, okay, am I thinking the things that the version of me who has what I want would be thinking? If the answer is no, then I'm changing my thinking, right? Or I'm not, one of the things that I got in a really bad habit of worrying about the last couple of years is making payroll, right? When I ended my business partnership and have gone through several different iterations and changes in the business, right? There were definitely times where I was like, oh shit, are we going to make payroll? And, but I realized that the person of me, the version of me who is running the business that I desire to run, she doesn't fucking worry about payroll. She doesn't worry about payroll because payroll is always made, period, end of. So one of the things I had to stop doing was I had to stop worrying about the things that I wouldn't be worrying about if I were already there. Right? Because again, it doesn't happen by accident. So if I'm going to sit here and I'm going to continue to worry about, am I going to make payroll? Am I going to make payroll? Am I going to make payroll? All I'm going to do is perpetuate not making payroll, right? Versus the version of me who has the business that I desire, she doesn't worry about payroll because it's already done, right? Whatever your example is, I want you to think about that. So that is really the mindset part of how do we do this? So then what is the action part, right? What are the action items? And so this is the part where I think that most people, I don't want to use the word struggle because I don't really like that word, but most people have a hard time with this, that they think that there's one particular strategy that is the secret sauce, right? They're like, okay, I've decided what success looks like. I've decided how much money I want to make. I've decided how many clients I need to sign to get there. And now I just need to find the perfect strategy. And this is actually another change from the norm, or something I would have told you several years ago, is the best strategy for you is the best strategy for you. And the best strategy for you may not be the best strategy for me. And of course, as you know, as a listener of this podcast, as a follower of ours, we believe very strongly in fundamentals, right? Business fundamentals, content and conversations, right? We believe in that. But we also believe that there are a lot of different ways that you can execute on that, right? There's a lot of different ways that you can execute content and conversations, and that's going to look differently for everyone, right? We throw a lot of rocks at launching and webinars and challenges, but we also know that launches, webinars, and challenges work. We also just think that they're not rooted in fundamentals. So I digress. But my point is telling you that there is no one-size-fits-all strategy. And this is, I think, a misinformation that we have, and we are programmed to believe that there's one right way to do things. But what I have learned in my own journey is that the right way to do things is the way that feels best to you, that feels in alignment with you, and is something that you can do consistently. It feels the best to you, it feels in alignment with you, and it is something that you can do consistently. Because if you can do it consistently, it will work, right? If you follow the fundamentals, right? I do believe there's fundamentals and there's basics. That's my personal opinion. You can prove me wrong if you want to. But if you have that foundation laid, if you have those fundamentals, there is a million different ways to do them. And so what you get to do in intentionally creating success, right, is you get to decide what is the framework, what is the strategy, what are we call it our sales and marketing system, or your non-negotiables, or your action items. What are the things that I'm going to do every day to get there, right? What are the things that I'm going to do every day to get where I want to go? And then it is mapping out a plan as to how am I going to execute on these things. For me, it is literally daily activity, right? Like I have a little note card that sits on my desk, right to the side of my desk, that shows you exactly how I intend to get where I want to go, right? I have those action items. So now my job is to execute on those action items, but to believe that those action items are the right action items, right? Where a lot of us get in trouble is we pick a strategy and we pick action items, and then we question our strategy and our action items, right? Was this right? Was this wrong? Should I be doing this? It's not working. I'm not getting results fast enough. That person over there is doing something different. Maybe I should do what she's doing. Maybe I should try this. Maybe this will work better, right? So this is what I mean by this doesn't happen by accident, right? Like we have to be really intentional. This takes a lot of discipline and it takes a lot of focus for us to say, this is the way that I intend to do this. And again, I have made a decision that this is the way that I intend to do it. Just like in my running example, I didn't look for 87 different training plans. And I'm confident that had I kept looking past the one that I found, I probably would have found more. And the truth of the matter was they all probably would have worked in helping me show up that day and run 13.1 miles. Right? Like that's where we're at. You just have to decide what is the training plan? What is the training plan that I'm going to execute on every single day and not second guess every single day, right? That's the second part of this. And that is the plan that I'm going to follow, right? So we energetically have to work towards becoming that version of ourselves. And then in the action lane, we have to choose what action and strategy that feels the best to us that we can do that's shows up in the world of execution, right? Shows up in taking action, but then we also have to believe that that thing is going to work. We have to make a decision and stick to that decision. That is how we show up. It is what a focused practice, right? It's a focused practice of becoming the best version of ourselves. It is a focused practice of showing up and doing the work every single day. I know that this is so much easier said than done. I also want to tell you that. And have I mastered this? Absolutely not, right? Have I knocked every single goal I've ever set out of the park? No. But I know that every day I get closer and closer and closer and closer to it because I am becoming that person, right? Because I am more and more confident every day that the action items that I have chose, the plan, the strategy that I have chosen for myself is the best plan, right? I believe that I can execute on it consistently. I can literally set it up as a focused practice, right? This is my focused practice of this is how I do this thing. This is my focused practice on becoming the best version of myself. This is the focused practice on executing on the strategies and the ideas. And I just am going to go all in on those things. Here is where it gets fun, right? Because as along the way, you are going to get new ideas and you're going to, be presented opportunities and all sorts of fun stuff is going to happen for you. I'm aware of that, right? But the truth of the matter is many of us, we use that like trying a lot of things as an excuse to, sit in uncertainty and to sit in confusion and to sit in getting stuck, right? So I think it's very, it's very, very important for us to realize that there is a blend between I am jumping from idea to idea to idea to idea because I don't have any confidence in myself, or I got this really cool, fun, inspired idea. And again, that's still a journey that I'm on, but I just thought I would point that out. So successful businesses, they're not built on accident, right? They are built by making a decision, by going all in on that decision, by becoming the best version of ourselves, by making a decision about how we want to run our business, how we want to show up, what feels aligned to us, and then actually trusting ourselves to execute on those things. And when you can do those things, become the best version of yourself, trust yourself to take action on the plan that feels the best to you, that is how you create success. That is how you intentionally create a business that hits every goal that you set for it, that provides for you in all the way that you want it to, that serves clients in all the ways that you want to, right? And remember that this strategy, what we just discussed here, this is not specific to sales and marketing. Like you can literally take this same strategy and idea and apply it to diet and weight loss. You can apply it to, love and relationships. You can apply it to parenting. You can apply it to a new hobby, right? But ultimately it comes down to making a decision, right? Being unavailable energetically for anything else, right? Figuring out who do I have to become to achieve what I want to achieve, and then what is the action plan that I trust myself to follow and execute on that day in and day out. Anything you want in life, if you follow this strategy, it will happen for you. I believe that to be true. And I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to Content and Conversations. If this was helpful for you, I would love if you would follow along, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. And we'll see you next week.